So, thank you for coming again. I was in the middle of the verse number 5 of Radha Kripa Kataksha, but then we touched the subject matter of Anuraga, for which I have some texts here which I would like to read for you. I started by reading them, but since it was a little longer than I thought, I will read on here for now. One day, Srimati Radhika and her friends, headed by Lalita, met Sri Krishna. Krishna became overwhelmed by Radhika's Madana Ras, and just to joke with him, Srimati went to see her girlfriend in another bower. When the Sakhis there pronounced Krishna's name, Shri Radha told Lalita, "O Kshirodhari, slender girl, who is that? Whose name you are pronouncing?" Lalita said, "Whoever it is, what's that to you?" Shri Radha said, "Sakhi, I have to know, because I am worried about how deep to keep my vow as a chaste housewife after hearing that name." Lalita replied, "Oh, Rangande, girl blinded by love, you are always playing at his chest." Shri Radha said, "Sakhi, are you joking with me? I have never even met this boy." Lalita said, "Oh, Mohite, bewildered girl, has your knowledge been covered over by intense desire? I have just handed you over to him." Shri Radhika then remembers and says, "Sakhi, you keep the truth. In this lifetime, he has appeared before my eyes today for 1 second, just like a lightning flash." This example shows how Anuraga makes the Anuragavati, passionate girl, even more thirsty after Krishna's great and astonishing sweetness, and thus makes her relish this sweetness more and more. With the statement that Radharani is the only ocean of Anuraga Ras, is meant that when Anuraga increases, Anuraga, as we said, is a form of, is a further expansion of prema. Yeah? It's another level of prema, is Anuraga. So now this description is explaining what is actually Anuraga. Shri Radharani is the only one who has this Madana Mahabhava, and she is the fountainhead of all Mahabhava, just as the ocean is the fountainhead of all rivers and ponds. The other gopis are her phalanx that help her to complete Krishna's relishing of transcendental mellows. Just as milk becomes thick, kshira, cream, and it is boiled down, Anuraga turns into Mahabhava when it becomes thick and intensified. Therefore, the Anuraga ocean is compared to the 6th cosmic ocean, the ocean of milk. Yeah? And Radharani is the ocean of Vatsalya. These are the 7 oceans which we mentioned before. Yeah, we mentioned Radharani is compared to the ocean of sweet water. Now this text compares her to the ocean of milk. And now Radharani, this is the 3rd ocean, ocean of Vatsalya. Vatsalya means love for the poor and fallen. Just as Shri Radha is an inexhaustible storehouse of amorous rasa, she is also a great ocean of Vatsalya affection. The writers of Rasa Shastras say that the Vatsalya Ras is not compatible with the Madhurya Ras, but Radharani makes them compatible in some situations. For instance, she gives the greatest bliss to Rasika Shiromani Krishna and her girlfriends and maidservants when she gives this motherly affection to Krishna while he takes his meal. Shri Radha's Vatsalya towards her girlfriend is also most wonderful. She is always controlled by their affection. It's mentioned here how Radharani gives food to Krishna. Every morning, Radharani goes to the house of Mother Yashoda and cooks breakfast for Krishna. This is her regular seva. Her manjaris go in front, prepare the kitchen, cut the vegetables, cut everything, and prepare for her cooking. And then Radharani comes to the house of Mother Yashoda, to Nandagram. There is a very large kitchen with 50 stoves, it's mentioned. And these stoves, they don't work with fire, they work with Radharani's affection for Krishna. So she cooks with the fire of her love and affection for Krishna. She cooks at 50 stoves parallel, and her manjaris assist her. Yeah? So she prepares the breakfast for Krishna and his friend. Simultaneously, Mother Yashoda wakes up Krishna, dresses him, calls his friends. Krishna has also his so-called manjaris, his very intimate friends, like Subal is the head of them. So she calls them, so they all come to wake up Krishna. When Krishna wakes up, he first goes like this, and then he pulls his body, and then he wakes up, and then he laughs. So then they bathe and dress Krishna and bring him to the room where they all together sit and take breakfast. And during this time, Srimati Radharani stands behind the curtain and watches how Krishna is enjoying the preparations which she made for him. And who knows what Krishna eats every morning?
Sweet rice.
Krishna eats every morning milk sweets. Not only sweet rice, but also sandesh and rasagula. This is what Krishna very much likes to eat every morning. And so he sits there with his Brahmana friend Madhu Mangal and Subal and other Gopas, and they all eat all these milk sweets, and they love it. No? So since Radharani is behind the curtain, the boys cannot see her, but she's looking at them. And Krishna knows that she's looking from behind the curtain because she's very shy. She doesn't want that anyone sees that she's looking. So Krishna, it's just a small opening, you know. So Krishna looks exactly in that opening, puts a sweet in his mouth, and goes like this. He spits it out. And Radharani becomes very worried. Oh, what happened? Somebody put salt in it, or what happened? And so Krishna just says, I don't want to eat this. Okay, let's go, you know. So they all go away. And of course, this manjaris, they quickly go and bring this because Radharani wants to taste. What was that what Krishna didn't want? So then they bring it to her, and she tries it, and she says, oh, it's tasting very wonderful. But this was, of course, a trick, because Krishna wanted to give Radharani the sweet from his own mouth, with his own saliva. So this was just a trick to give her without that anyone knows why. Yeah. So this is one of the sweet pastimes. So Shriratha had a quarrel with Krishna, but now she regrets it. This is called Kala Hantara Bhava. She is once more very eager to meet him. Kala Hantarita Bhava. She is once more very eager to meet him. But in order to show that she is under full control of her girlfriends, she tells Vinda, O Saki, Vinde, tell this prince of Raj that I am controlled by my girlfriends. Why does he waste his words on me? We are proud girls. It is not proper for him to stay in our abodes. Tell him that he'd better fearfully flee. Doesn't he know the prowess of my friend Lalita? With these words, Saki, Vatsala, Shriratha, pleases her girlfriends and gives a hidden instruction to Shyamasundar to come and meet her at the same time. So she says he should not come, but Krishna knows that he should come. Shri Radha's Vatsalya towards her maidservants is incomparable. The maidservants are always showered by waves from the ocean of her motherly affection. She always keeps them by her side, calling them my Rupa Manjari, my Rati Manjari, with strong feelings of mindness. They belong to me. The 8th canto of his Vrindavan Mahimamrita, Sripad, has drawn a very sweet picture of how Shri Radha showers her maidservants with nectar of her compassion. Day and night, the maidservants are staying at Srivasvari, Shri Radhika's lotus feet, for they will die if they are separated from them for even a second. They are very enchanting as they wear their leftover garlands, dresses, and ornaments of the loving divine couple, and they are also adorned with many amazing attributes such as great humility and good behavior. Because there is a lot of essential part of affection in the Vatsalya ocean, just as yogurt is the essence of milk, this ocean can be compared to the 5th cosmic ocean, the ocean of yogurt. Shri Radha is the ocean of deep compassion. This is now the 4th ocean, always showering her devotees with the nectarian stream of her mercy. Those who have been touched by the nectar of that compassion can testify. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami says, Karuna viradvat deha, her body melts with compassion. Normally a person's heart melts with compassion, but only in Radharani's case, the whole body melts with compassion. She always bathes in streams of ambrosial compassion, and because Krishna accepted her mood when he became Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu is so merciful. Mahaprabhu does not consider who is qualified or unqualified, who is from which caste, from which ashram. He gives prema, love of God, without making such distinctions. That is a body melting with compassion. It is Radha's storehouse of compassion, not Krishna's. In Vrindavan Leela, the storehouse of Radha's mercy remained hidden and closed. But when Mahaprabhu accepted the mood and complexion of Sri Radha, it became manifest to the world. Mahaprabhu showed the people of the world how the body can melt with compassion, because he assumed Sri Radha's merciful mood. Because Radhika's body melts with compassion. It can be compared to the 4th cosmic ocean, the ocean of clarified butter, the ocean of Lavanya. Sri Rupa Goswami defines Lavanya as following in the Ujjvala Nilamani: the luster that gushes out of each bodily limb, like the luster shining out from inside pearls, is called Lavanya. And Srimati Radharani is the ocean of Lavanya or elegance. The fish-like eyes of Sri Krishna, who is called Lavanya Sara, the essence of Lavanya or elegance, in Srimad Bhagavatam 10:44-14, never get tired of swimming in the ocean of Sri Radha's Lavanya. Indeed, his desire to swim in that ocean simply increases. Sripad Bilva Mangala Thakur said in Krishna Karnamritam 3, Lavanyamrita Vichi Lolita Drisham, Krishna's eyes below on the waves of nectarian Lavanya. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami writes in Sharanga Rangada commentary on this verse, Shri Radha eva Lavanyamrita Vichipir. Shri Krishna's eyes have become very thirsty after the nectar waves of Shri Radha's Lavanya. So what is Lavanya? Elegance, grace, elegance. Because Krishna is intoxicated by seeing Radha's Lavanya, and her maidservants and girlfriends are intoxicated by seeing Krishna looking at Radha, like this. The ocean of Lavanya is compared to the third cosmic ocean, the cosmic of wine. The practicing devotees should also forget everything related to this world or the next world and become intoxicated by the worshipping of the lotus feet of that Sri Radha. Of course, we don't drink wine. Please don't misunderstand. It's just a comparison. And the sixth ocean is the ocean of Amrita. She is very form of glowing nectar, and her form is like a vast ocean. She is Mahabhava personified, and Mahabhava is compared to nectar. It is the deepest possible love for Krishna, and Radha's forms reveal this beauty and tastefulness to the utmost. Therefore, she is the Amrita Chubi Rupa Sindhu. Although Shri Krishna inundates the whole world with a mere drop of his beauty, even he drowns in the nectar ocean of Radha's form. Shri Krishna says in Chaitanya Charitamrita 4, 242, Koti kama jini rupa yadyapi amara asa mordva madhuriya samya nahi yara mora rupa apayeta hoi tribhuvana radhara darshane amara judayana yana. Although my form defeats millions of cupids, is unrivaled in its sweetness, and pleases all the three worlds, my eyes are still pleased by seeing Radha. In this way, I am the cause of the joy to the world, but Radhika's form and attributes are my very life. Because the ocean of Radha's form is so sweet, it is compared to the second cosmic ocean, the cosmic of sugarcane juice. Srimati is the ocean of playfulness, which means her frolics with her beloved Shyamasundar. She keeps Shyamasundar immersed in the waves of ocean of her pastimes when she meets him. When the waves of Madana Ras swell in the ocean of Radha's pastimes, even Sri Krishna, the transcendental youthful Cupid of Vrindavan, does not dare to place his boat-like heart on its surface. Just as a boatman fearfully keeps his boat on the bank of the Ganga, when her huge wave meets the ocean, this ocean of play is compared to the first cosmic ocean, the ocean of salt water. Because although the very sight of this ocean destroys all sins, a person who drinks its water will die. So if you go to the Ganga, if you take baths, all your sins are nullified. But don't drink the Ganga water. It's not very healthy to drink it. Similarly, at least not when the Ganga meets the Bay of Bengal. You can drink the Ganga water when it comes out in Gangotri, in the source. That's very pure. Similarly, when one faithfully chants and hears about the pastimes of Radha and Madhava, one will become free from all sins and from the heart's disease of lust. But when one tries to imitate these pastimes, one will perish. This is confirmed in the last verses of Rasa Lila narration in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad writes in his Ujjvala Nilamani, a person who desires auspiciousness should act like a devotee who should never imitate Krishna in his amorous dalliances. This is the purport of all scriptures. So, although we are followers of Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we don't imitate their activities. Just like we cannot pick up Govardhan Hill, we should also not try to imitate other pastimes of Krishna like that. We should follow the orders of Krishna given in the Bhagavad Gita or his teachings. So, I will go back to our Radha Kripa Kataksha narrations. I guess I was on verse 5, yes, on page Which page is this now? Page 7. Yes, exactly. So, if you remember, this is which page? Yes, we are in this verse. Madon madati yovane pramodamana mandite priyanuraga ranjite kala vilasa pandite. I will read one more time the translation to this verse. You in your youthfulness, as if intoxicated with deep joy and decorated with the transcendental mood of man, of lovely rebelliousness, full of delightful rapture, you expert in the art of transcendental lilas, which arise from your ever-fresh affection for the beloved. So, we were describing, if you were to cut the cloth open, we were describing how if you put a cloth into a very dark red color, then the cloth will be through and through red, even if it was white. So if you were to cut the cloth open, the fibers would no longer be white inside because it is saturated with the color from the inside. Raga, therefore, means when a heart is so saturated with this red that this red can never be removed, never scrapped off, but the heart is filled with the color inside and out. So anuraga means that even though Radha and Krishna meet every day and all the time, there is always a mood of fresh and completely new excitement to see and meet each other. This is because her heart is so saturated with love that the mind and memory can become completely confused. Thus Radhika can even forget that she has ever met with Krishna because ever fresh moods and ever fresh love permeate her mind completely. So I hope you can follow. The idea is due to anuraga, due to the very high level of love, Radharani always forgets that she's with Krishna or that she has ever met Krishna. It's always fresh. It's always a new experience for her and also for Krishna. We don't have this kind of experience in this world because we are living in a very different dimension. The spiritual dimensions are eternal. Our dimensions are very limited. We have only a small dimension of understanding.
I'm sorry, they are coming up in my mind. This means also for us when we're going back that we always fresh.
Yes, it's a nava rasa. It's ever fresh relationship. But of course, in the case of Radharani and Krishna, it depends on the level of love. Okay, not everybody in the spiritual world is on the same level. They are all on the spiritual level, just like we are all now in this room, and we all speak English at the moment. But it doesn't mean that you also don't speak German and I speak Persian. We have differences. So we are all more or less on the same level. Everyone in the spiritual world is more or less on the spiritual platform, but not everyone is on the same level. Still, Srimati Radharani is the highest of all the devotees of Krishna. Sometimes we hear in the Shastra, Prahlad Maharaj is the greatest devotee of Krishna. We hear Vaishnavayam Yata Shambhu. Shambhu Shiva is the greatest devotee of the greatest Vaishnava. Sometimes we hear Narada Muni is the greatest of all devotees. Sometimes we hear Giri Govardhan is the greatest of all devotees. How many greatest can it be? Yeah. Are they all the greatest? Can you answer me? Yeah, why? How can it be that everybody is the greatest?
In their field, in their respective field.
In their respective rasa with Krishna. Yeah? So there is always this tattva understanding. the understanding of the truth. Yes, they are all the greatest devotees. That's true. But they all have different rasas with Krishna. Prahlad Maharaj is the greatest devotee of Krishna in Vatsalya Ras, because Nrsingadev felt like his father. He felt and showed fatherly affection to him. Yes, this is true. Lord Shiva is the greatest of all Mahadevs. He is the greatest Mahadev. Why? Because he also came to this point that actually being a Gopeshvara, being a Gopi, is actually very high. So greatest of all demigods is Lord Shiva, no question. And he's a very great devotee of Krishna. But Srimati Radharani is the greatest of all devotees in Shringar Ras, in Madhurya Ras. Mother Yashoda is the greatest of all mothers to Krishna. She is the greatest example of motherly affection. No one is as great as Mother Yashoda. Yes. So they are all great. There is no scarcity of greatness in spiritual world. And they are all on the spiritual platform, but still they are not all on the same level. No? So we should never forget. But the important point is that they are all very happy and satisfied where they are. It's not that Subal thinks, oh, I'm a best friend of Krishna, but actually I would wish that I would be a gopi. No, he never thinks like that. He thinks, wow, I'm so blessed to be Krishna's best friend. Madhu Mangal, he never thinks, oh, yeah, I'm, this kind of funny Brahmana friend of Krishna, but actually I would like to dance with Krishna. No, he never thinks like that. He thinks, these gopis, he's very happy where he is. So this is the difference. When we are in this material world and we are in a good place, even if you are in the best place, you always think, oh, this other person looks a little more than happy than me, This one is a little more rich than me. Oh, this woman has even a nicer hair than me, Oh, this man has a nicer nose than me. I wish I had his nose, We are always envious of others. In the spiritual world, it's not like this. Everyone is super satisfied where they are. And they are very, very happy to be a part of it, So this is a mentality we should also absorb. Of course, we should want to have the highest of all, love of Krishna. But we should also be grateful for what we have. And the more you are eager to serve, the more you will receive that satisfaction, that inner peace and satisfaction. Because satisfaction comes when your relationship with Krishna is intact. How our relationship with Krishna can be intact? It is intact in service. It functions through service. So if you have received a service, especially if you receive the service from a spiritual master, like our dear Srila Prabhupada has given us one very, very important service. He writes in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srila Prabhupada writes, from all the services that spiritual master gives to his disciple, one service is the most important. Who knows what it is? Distribute books? Well, that's good, yes, but that's not what I was meaning. Srila Prabhupada gave so many instructions, and it's always good to follow those instructions. But among all the instructions he gave, especially to his initiated disciples, was the chanting of 16 rounds every day is the most important. So this is something which all devotees, especially those who are initiated in the chanting of the holy name, should try to fulfill with their best of intention and with the best of power. To chant at least 16 rounds every day with attention, free of offenses. This is a process which we are very much encouraged again and again, because this is also the Yuga Dharma, the chanting of the holy name. Kali Yuga Dharma, Harinam Sankirtan. Therefore, the Hare Krishna devotees always sing Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Why? Because this is the Yuga Dharma. This is the most important seva. And what do you think? Radha and Krishna are doing in their most highest state of love? Who knows? Hmm?
They chant also their names.
Yes, they sit together, they look at each other, and they chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radha and Krishna are chanting their own names to inspire each other. One time, some devotees in Radhakund, some Babajis in Radhakund, criticized Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and said, you're always coming with Krishna, Krishna. This is Radhakund. We always chant Radhe Radhe here. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur told them, when you chant Radhe Radhe, what happens? I said, well, Krishna manifests. I said, well, I'm chanting Krishna, Krishna, because Radharani will manifest. Now, who is the devotee of Radharani? Yes, we chant Hare Krishna. Hare is Radharani and Krishna is Krishna. We always approach Krishna through Radharani. Like we were hearing the story, the Manjari wanted to give flowers, but she wanted to give it through the hands of Radharani. So we always should approach devotees in order to approach Krishna. This is the easiest way. And well, Srimati Radharani is undoubtedly the greatest of all devotees. Srila Prabhupada also mentions, you want to bring a flower to Krishna, bring it in the hand of Radharani. And Radharani will say, you brought a nice flower to Krishna. Very nice. And Krishna says, you received the flower for me. Who brought it? This Ekanti brought this flower for you. And Krishna becomes very interested in Ekanti because of that one flower which she brought and gave it to Radharani. So we always approach Radharani first. It's always Hare Krishna and not Krishna Hare. No, we always call Radharani. We never say Madan Mohan Radhe, we say Radha Madan Mohan. We always call Radha first. She is first. She is most important. So, two symptoms of Anuraga are Prema Vaichitriya and Prema Vivarta. So now we learn these two phrases. These are a little technical, but important to know if you are in Radharani's team. Because of this mood, Prema Vaichitriya, she feels separated in the encounter with Krishna, as happens at the Prem Sarovar. Madhumangal chased away a bumblebee and said, Madhusudan is gone. Madhusudan means bumblebee. Madhusudan is also a name of Krishna. So he chased a bumblebee in playful mood, and then he said, Madhusudan is gone. And he will never come back. And Radhika, although she's sitting on Krishna's lap and has Krishna's arm around her, starts crying and crying. And she faints when she hears these words, he's gone, he's gone, he's not coming back. She's separated even though she is right in Krishna's arm. This is called Prema Vaichitriya, madness due to love. She is mad because she thinks, Krishna is gone. She heard Krishna is gone. Now nothing can console her. Prema Vivarta, this is the other side, is when Radhika is in separation from Krishna. But then, for example, when she sees a tamal tree, believes it to be Krishna, and then begins to speak to the tree and rebuke it for its tardiness. Or when she speaks to the bumblebee and rebukes Krishna, Krishna, you left. And you left us all here alone, and we are all sitting and crying, where are you? This is Vivarta, separated. Srimati Radhika is also Kala Vilasa Pandite, according to this verse. Kala means has many arts, like the 64 arts. But here it is Kala Vilasa. Vilas means the love play between Radha and Krishna. How you joke and pray and perform so many different leelas in the kunjas. Srimati Radhika is very expert in all these arts of love to attract Krishna. Having attracted Krishna to then fascinate him in vilas. Also, she is a pandit, very expert, highly skilled in it, attracting and fascinating, bewildering and astonishing Krishna by her Kala Vilas, her artistic and expert vilas, by loving, playful Leela. This Srimati Radhika, which attracts and amazes Krishna by being in a man mood, she is so experienced. Who knows what is man? Sulkiness, when she is angry at Krishna. This is man. This is one of the symptoms, one of the phases of prem. She's mad, she's sulky. As a part of her expertise, she is also very experienced in preventing Krishna from getting close to her. She makes Kala Vilas like a pandit, like a very expert, learned person. She skillfully does her Kala Vilas, and she is Ananya Danya Kunjarajya. These are the words from here. Where does she do all this? In the Kunjaraj. Raj means kingdom. So what Radhika's kingdom is Vrindavan's Kunjas. She is the Kala Vilasa Pandita. She is the Pandit who is so proficient in the arts of love that unfold in her own kingdom, which is Vrindavan Dham. These kunjas are not ordinary places. They are dhanya. They are very auspicious, deeply sacred and blessed places. They are also ananya. They are ananya danya, unequaled. They are unsurpassed. Ananya means that they are exclusive and supreme. All their expansions in Goloka, Mathura or Dwaraka can never be compared to them. So all the places of pilgrimage which are related to Krishna, they can never ever be compared to Vrindavan Dham. No? I tell you another Leela of Raghunath Das Goswami. While he was staying at Radhakund, he spent the last part of his life at Radhakund. One day, a devotee came to him and told him that, Goswami Pad, I come here begging you for blessings. And he said, yeah, what do you want to do? He said, I want to go to a pilgrimage to Kurukshetra. Yeah. And he said, you are in Radhakund and you want to go to pilgrimage to Kurukshetra? So when you go, you don't come back because you don't understand Radhakund. If you're in Radhakund and you think you should go pilgrimage somewhere else, then you have no understanding of Radhakund. Radhakund is the culmination of all holy places. All holy places, all holy rivers, they all came here, personified and begged Radharani to stay at her place. Everything is here. And you want to go to pilgrimage somewhere else, that means you have no understanding. But in other words, you are a very stupid man. So go. Go and you don't need to come back. You have my full blessings. Yeah? So, what it is meant is that all the expansions of Goloka, Mathura, Dwaraka can never be compared to Sri Vrindavan Dham, or for that matter, Radhakund, Govardhan. Yeah? Kada karishyasi hamam, kripa kataksha bhajanam. When Srimati Radhika is in Man, your kripa kataksha has a special meaning for your manjaris. It is very intense time, and there is no way to exchange words in such situations. Only katakshas, only sidelong glances. So Radharani doesn't argue with people. She just sends a sidelong glance to her manjaris to get these. And all manjaris understand you at every moment. No? Mada is intoxication, is love, and unmada is the result of it, divine madness. Krishna prema is part of this potion, but it also has characteristics of Radhika, like her youthful nature, pride, eagerness for encounters. If there are no unleashing for this love, it develops into man. Sneha is when her heart melts like a river flowing into the ocean. Man is like a dam. When a dam built in front of a river, it cannot flow away. The river continues to flow, but it only fills up and backs up. And when the dam breaks, the river flows through like a flood of love. This dam is called Man, and is created when the river Sneha cannot reach its destination. Yovane, this is Radhika's youthfulness, which is like a vessel, completely filled with this intoxication. It is an unstoppable stream of love. This man of Radhika prepares Krishna so much joy, pramoda. It is another one of her ornaments or decorations, mandite. Pranaya, when man is broken, a flood of pent-up love comes flowing powerfully, like two oceans meeting and becoming one, forgetting their identities. So these are all the different descriptions of the stages of Radharani's love to Krishna, which is a little technical, but I thought it is nice to mention it. And to conclude this one verse, I wish to offer you a short meditation. Please close your eyes and try to imagine this situation. Your blossoming youth is so intoxicating that it drives you and him crazy. And even your anger, defiance, and resentments, your rebelliousness makes them seem delightful. Your affection for your beloved Krishna is characterized by your skillful abilities in the many arts of lovemaking. You are the expert for highest poetry, full of loving exchange in your incomparable, holy, auspicious realm of Kunjas. So this was the verse number 4. Now, Maithili, we need next verse. Ashesha Hava Bhava, you know. Yes. So please sing along with me. Ashesha Hava Bhava Dira Hira Hara Bhushite Prabhuta Satta Kumbha Kumbha Kumbhi Kumbha Sustana Ashesha Hava Bhava Dira Hira Hara Bhushite Prabhuta Satta Kumbha Kumbha Kumbhi Kumbha Sustana Vasastamandasya Churna Purna Sauki Sagare Radhakarishasi Hamam Kripa Kadaksha Vasastamandasya Purna Churna Sagare Radhakarishasi Hamam Kripa Kadaksha Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. So, you are adorned with your unlimited moods of love, Hava, Bhava, Dhira, as with a necklace of diamonds. Their breasts resemble golden bulbous jugs, or the two humps on the head of an elephant. And you, with your praised smile, which has the same effect as the transcendental far-scented dust, like an ocean of bliss. When will you make me the recipient of your kripa kataksha, your sideway glance of grace? Boundless moods and qualities adorn you like a diamond necklace. Your smile is as intoxicating as an ocean of bliss made of fragrant pollen dust. Ashesha hava bhava dira hira hara bhushite. Srimati Radhika's nature and characteristics are described here. First of all, these qualities are ashesha, they are unlimited. And before we try to describe Radhika's qualities, it is said here, how can we ever penetrate them, which are completely unlimited? Can we never fully describe them? But we can easily touch some of the various qualities of Radhika. And these qualities that we touch upon, the explanation of these qualities are also unlimited and never to come to end. For our understanding, our acharyas have described her qualities, divided them into 25 qualities, but actually she has unlimited qualities. So if we have time at one point, we can go through the 25 qualities, but I would wish to continue now, because otherwise we will not make it to read all this nectar. So first of all, two qualities or two aspects of her nature are mentioned, hava and bhava. These are the first two of 20 anubhavas, alternating moods of love in the flow of transcendental play, described by Rupa Goswami in Ujjvala Nilamani. Bhava is the first, and then hava. So Srimati Radhika has these 20 anubhavas and more. Just give an indication of all the anubhavas, alankaras, these moods which are her adornment. Hava and bhava have been mentioned as examples. So, says Ashesha hava bhava dira hira hara bhushite. All these bhavas and these levels are mentioned, but these are just some of them. Yeah? So these are different meanings. There are different meanings of the word bhava for different people, depending on who bhava refers to. It will mean something different. For a sadhaka, like ourselves, practicing devotees, by the grace of Gurudev, it is possible to a platform of bhava ourselves one day, but such a bhava is very different from the bhava of Srimati Radharani. The bhava that we can attain in this sadhaka life refers to the stage that comes after asakti and before prema. So if you have ever studied Srila Prabhupada's books and Srila Rupa Goswami's teachings, you know that going through the bhakti ladder, it's like a ladder, you climb up. Yeah? The first stage of attaining Krishna bhakti is Shraddha. Shraddha sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, anartha nivriti, and nishta, asakti. Asakti is the bridge between sadhana bhakti and raganuga bhakti. Yeah. So the first step is Shraddha. What does it mean, Shraddha? Who knows? Faith. The beginning faith. You see devotees and you think, oh, these are nice guys, They are not speaking about Donald Trump. They are speaking about life, about spiritual life. They are speaking about something important, They are not speaking about the affairs of this material world. You have some little faith. This is just the beginning faith. It may shake and it may go away if you don't follow up, or if you don't find yourself, sheltered. This is the beginning faith, Shraddha. But it's very important faith, because Shraddha brings you to Sadhu Sangha. You come to the devotees. Yeah? Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha. And what do the devotees do? They tell you, let us sing together Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is chanting the holy names. Maybe you like to clean the temple. Maybe you like to bring some flowers for Krishna. So you start doing bhajana kriya. You start doing worship of Krishna in different ways. Whatever you like. Yeah? You may like doing kirtan, you may like cooking for Krishna, you may like taking prasadam only. No problem, also good. It's also a kind of service to Krishna. But you do bhajana kriya. And what happens when one does bhajana kriya? Anartha nivritti, the anarthas, the bad things from your heart will go away. They fly away like crows. Prabhupada said, if you clap your hands, the crows will fly away. So when you clap your hands in kirtan, all the bad, sinful reactions fly away. They go away. Yes. All the bad anarthas, all the attachments to this world will go away if you clap your hands in Krishna Kirtan. If you perform devotional service, you will lose taste in the material world. It will become like a cold pizza. Who wants to eat a cold pizza? Especially when there is a warm pizza is there. When you have a hot pizza and you have a cold pizza, who cares for that? You would like to have the warm one. So similarly, if you have taste for Krishna Kirtan, you will not have taste for material activities. Anartha nivritti, it will go away. Yeah? And what happens? Then you get the real faith, nishta, firm faith. Then you say, no, this is actually the right way. I feel at home here. I like it here. I like what these people are doing. I like Krishna Bhakti. I feel at home and I want to continue on this way. And if you continue, you will come to the platform of asakti. A sadhaka can thus advance to the stage of asakti. Asakti is like a bridge. From the point you have a firm faith in Krishna consciousness, you can you can pass over the bridge and come to the platform of bhava. Asakti, then the next step is bhava. Bhava means ecstasy. Ecstasy, then you will like it. You just like it to hear Bhagavad Gita. You like it to hear about Krishna and Radharani. You just really like it to not hear anything else. You want just this. This would be your fulfillment. You don't think, oh, another 1 hour I have to sit and hear this guy. You think, no, I like it to be here. I don't want to go anywhere else. It's fine here, And you like it, especially one of the symptoms of bhava is that you just don't want to do anything else. You want to only do this. You only want to sit and chant hours and hours and hours to just be there 24-hour kirtan. Yes, you become tired, but then you like to come back to that, This is one of the symptoms of bhava. You don't want to waste your life anymore running after money and fame and things of this world which just come and go. Yeah, you just want this. So a sadhaka can thus advance to the stage of asakti by practicing his sadhana under the guidance of Gurudev and through Gurudev's kripa, his compassionate mercy. But sadhana cannot actually cause bhava. Just by performing sadhana, because I'm chanting Hare Krishna, doesn't mean that I will have to get bhava. It can only come if your practice is done in certain ways, which we will hear now. And of course, bhava is the pre-stage for prema, for receiving Krishna prema, love of Godhead. Sadhana are those activities that prepare your heart to receive bhava, which arises only through the action of Swarup Shakti, Krishna's own internal energy, which ultimately means Srimati Radhika. This bhava comes from the hearts of the eternal associates of Krishna in Vrindavan. And when it is under the influence of Swarup Shakti and the mercy of Gurudev, when this bhava comes from the associates of Vrindavan, it's called Rati, a ray of the sun of prema. At that time, when this Rati appears in the heart, your own Swarup is also manifested and realized. So this is now a very high level. When you receive this kind of mercy, you will know who you are. You have reached the platform of self-realization, which means you can also realize Krishna. You can also be with Krishna and act and serve Radha and Krishna personally. This comes not all at once, it comes slowly, slowly. Yeah? It says you have, for example, in the beginning you just dream. You dream of Radha and Krishna. In the next stage, you may have daydream, you may have, realizations, just shortly. This is called swapna. You get a swapna, you get a small vision of Krishna. Yeah? Sometimes devotees have this kind of swapnas. In Vilapa Kusumanjali, Raghunathas Goswami is all the time explaining about his swapnas. He's getting one swapna after another. He's massaging Radharani's lotus feet and suddenly everything is gone. It's nothing there. And he sits there and cries, "Oh no, what happened? I just got the opportunity to do this seva, but now the whole vision disappeared." And so he cries in lamentation, in separation from Srimati Radharani. So therefore, these kind of books show the eagerness of a devotee. And in the perfectional stage, this swapna does not disappear anymore, but you are there. So in reality, Krishna Loka is also here, but we are in the back of the curtain of Maya. Therefore, we don't see it. Therefore, we look at the deities and we see some statues. Beautiful, but they are statues. We don't see that they are playing with us. They are blessing us. They are standing there all day and serving us by their darshan. Yeah? Krishna is playing flute all day for all of us, but we don't hear it because we are materialistic. Our vision is polluted by materialism. But otherwise, Krishna is the supreme servant. Gopi Bhartur Padakamalayur Dasa Dasa Das Anudas. I'm sure you have maybe here and there heard this verse, which is very nicely describing the position of a devotee who is the servant of the servant of the servant of the gopis. Srila Prabhupada translates this in Krishna book in a very special, beautiful way. Srila Prabhupada writes, I have actually only seen this once, maybe in other places also, but in one place in Krishna book, Prabhupada writes, a devotee is the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna, who is the maintainer and servant of the gopis. So Krishna is also a servant. He is God, but he is the servant of the gopis. Why? Because the gopis are his greatest devotees. And Krishna admitted to them in Srimad Bhagavatam, he said, Na parayeham, I am unable to repay the debts which I have to you. You have given me so much love that I cannot repay you back. I'm so sorry. I cannot repay you. I owe you forever. Yeah. So, Shuddha Sattva Vishetatma. Vishesha means one very special and particular Atma, which means the Atma of a particular Vraj consort of Krishna. His heart mood will also enter our Atma. So, for example, if we follow Rupa Manjari, then we want what is in her Atma. We want her Bhava, her type of Seva, her Manjari Bhava, this Vishesha Atma. We want it to come into our heart through the influence of Shuddha Sattva. This is the meaning of Bhava at the level of Sadhaka. At this point, various Anubhavas also manifest themselves. Anubhava means something that comes in the wake of Bhava, or Anubhava. So Anubhavas are what is described here as Hava and Bhava. They are the first two of the 20 Anubhavas described by Rupa Goswami. They are called Anubhava Alankaras. Alankara means an ornament that adorns your body. So these feelings, these bhavas, Anubhavas, they are like decorations on the body of a devotee. A devotee who has this kind of bhava, he is properly decorated to serve Radha and Krishna. Thus comes bhava through bhava, And we have Swarupa, and this form is adorned with Anubhavas. This is our Alankara, the decoration that adorns the Swarup, the spiritual body. So also Srimati Radhika's body is adorned with so many Anubhavas. Hava and Bhava are described. The Bhava described here refers to the stage that comes in Srimati Radhika's after Sneha, Mana, Pranaya, Raga, Anuraga, and then Mahabhava. So this Bhava is a special kind of Anubhava and has a special meaning for Radhika and the gopis of Vraja. It is a special kind of rati that arises in the hearts of the gopis, and it is described as the first emotion of love. When the hearts of the sadhakas move towards Krishna through the influence of Swarup Shakti and have a relationship with Krishna, it is called bhava. When Shakti moves towards Shaktiman, Shakti means energy, and Shaktimans means the source of energy. So Radharani is Shakti, and Krishna is Shaktiman, is the source of all energy. Bhava means that you are attracted to Krishna. The initial attraction manifests in your eyes, and bhava becomes hava, indicating a desire for interaction with Krishna. Your desire for pleasure with Krishna is expressed by a smile and happiness on your face. Sometimes Radhika is in man and seemingly angry with Krishna, even for good reason. A very spicy expression of your love. You can be angry with Krishna, and then after some time, through Krishna's efforts or simply through her own changing nature, the mana in Radha subsides. But even if this form of her affectionate response, when her anger subsides, she may still not be able to give up her attitude of intense resentment toward Krishna. She cannot give up her man. And even Lalita, who always encourages her, you should be angrier, don't be Dakshina, don't be soft on Krishna. Even Lalita now says, oh, now it's enough, Radhika. Should you look at him? Look, he's weeping at your feet. But because of her own nature, against her own desires, she is not able to give up her anger. And she questions herself by looking away from Krishna and questioning herself, why am I doing this? Krishna, for whom everyone is crazy, is weeping at my feet, but I am not able to look at him. Why am I doing this? Even she cannot understand the depth of her own nature, her own moods. Even Lalita and Vishaka cannot understand the depths of her moods. Actually, only the Manjaris know this. Even if Srimati Radhika doesn't know, the Manjaris know, because they know Radhika's heart better than she does. She is sometimes so preoccupied with how her mood please Krishna that she loses consciousness of her own heart. But the Manjaris are also that Atmika with Radhika's heart. That even if she doesn't know why she acts the way she does, her Manjaris can understand. So this is a very important point. Nobody can understand Radharani better than Rupa and Raghunath Das Goswami. Even Radharani sometimes doesn't know, but Rupa and Rati Manjari, they know better, because they are her highest well-wisher. They only want her pleasure and her victory. At this point, Radhika may be one of her Manjaris look with a sidelong glance at them. Why should I do now? What should I do now? Sometimes Radhika is confused and she looks at the Manjaris. What shall I do now? And the Manjaris know whether she should give up her man or not. They know exactly, because Radhika is in their hearts, knows how to please Krishna. Radhika knows. And if she is confused, her Manjaris who know her heart without confusion can help her know how to please Krishna the most. Radhika is adorned by these things, hava, bhava, and the extent of tremendous profundity of moods, dhira. This dhira is described as hira hara. Hira means diamonds, and hara means a necklace. So all these moods of Radhika, and especially her dhira, are like a diamond necklace that Radharani wears on her heart. Diamonds have different properties, and one of them is that they are very, very hard. It's impossible to penetrate them. Nothing is harder than a diamond. So Radhika's mood is also impossible to penetrate. Another property of diamond is that they are transparent, and when they come near a color, for example, near green, all the colors of the green are reflected. And in different green lights in the diamond, when they come close to gold, they turn golden. So, purpose of all these moods of Radhika, their profundity and all these anubhavas, to reflect Krishna's desire and happiness. In the Ujjvala Nilamani, 4 types of Krishna's moods are described as heroic. And then, dividing these 4 into so many other categories, Sri Rupa describes 96 different characteristics of Krishna's moods. And for each different mood that Krishna has, Srimati Radhika has a corresponding mood. Whatever mood Krishna is in and he feels, Srimati ji is able to respond to that very mood of Krishna. Just as a diamond reflects any color that comes near it. All moods and anubhavas, Srimati Radhika's, are like this, like diamonds. So when Krishna comes in a particular mood, she is always able to correspond in a perfect and beautiful way with that mood of Krishna, to complement that mood and to please Krishna no matter what mood he is in. Sometimes Srimati Radhika expands herself into so many different gopis, and these different gopis are also manifestations of her different moods. Sometimes Krishna goes to different gopis, but actually he only tastes these different gopis in Radhika's moods. Whatever mood he may be in, Radhika, everything for the fulfillment of that mood of Krishna. In other words, when Krishna is meeting other gopis, he is actually meeting Radhika in the corresponding mood which Krishna needs at that moment.
Is it listed somewhere? 96?
Louder.
Is it somewhere listed, the 96 moods of Krishna?
Yes, in Ujjvala Nilamani of Srila Rupa Goswami. It's a book. 96 different moods of Krishna. And Radharani expands herself, either she herself or her gopis, they correspond to the moods of Krishna. They are always ready to serve Krishna in different moods. And however Krishna reacts, whoops, Radharani is there, corresponds to that, or a gopi is there to correspond that. Now, this is the all the time ready to serve Krishna.
Do you have the book here?
I don't have the book, and I think it's a book which is a little complicated for you as a beginner in Krishna consciousness to read. Yeah, we are reading all this because it's Radhastami, but generally these subject matters are a very high level. Yeah, even if you read them, you may not understand them very well. Even these points we are all reading, so much of this may not be understood even by me. I'm reading them to purify myself. Yeah. Generally, our study material is Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. And this is a specific mentioning about Srimati Radharani, so you can hear it and think about it. And maybe one day you can also read it in the association of devotees. These kinds of subject matters should always be read among the devotees and not privately, because privately we might not understand it very much. Yeah. So, in this way, Srimati Radhika is bhushite, adorned. Her body, that is her love for Krishna, Mahabhava, is adorned by all these other anubhavas who come in the wake of bhava. The Manjaris are able to understand Radhika's inner mood, even if she herself does not understand it. They know that she inwardly wants to meet with Krishna, even though she is in Man and does not allow him to come near her. They know that she wants to meet Krishna, and they know that the reason she wants to meet Krishna is to give pleasure to Krishna. She does not desire to her own happiness, but simply wants to give Krishna the deepest happiness. Srimati Radhika also knows how to make Krishna happy. If you please him inwardly by your increasing man, may he weep at your feet at the same moment. Then Radhika will continue that man, even though her own gentle nature may tell her that you cannot do it. The Manjaris know this, and Radhika also transmits her mood to them through her kripa kataksha, through her sidelong glance. Thus, following Radhika's inner mood, they can also prevent Krishna from approaching Radhika. She is ultimately doing it for both her happiness and for Krishna's growing happiness. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a description of this, bhava kila kinchita bhava, which says that in the heart, face, and eyes of Radhika, there is a smile, but in her man, she tries to hide it by biting her lips and not even being able to speak to Krishna. Because if she speaks and stops biting her lip, her smile will come out. But Krishna provokes her, because that is what he wants. He wants to see her little tears and her little smile. So this smile is very famous. It is prashasta, because it has the effect of intoxicating Krishna. How so? This smile is described as churna, like a fragrant pollen. Purna chaukya sagare. And the nature of this smile is purna, complete, and saukya is blissful joy, and sagare is the ocean. This is how Radhika's smile is famous. It creates an ocean of bliss in Krishna's heart. We want to receive your kripa kataksha. At the moment when she attracts Krishna with her smile, and at the same time does not look directly at him, perhaps she is showing man, tears in her eyes, but she is smiling and not looking toward Krishna. So where is she looking? She looks from the side towards her manjaris, and the look says, should I give up this anger? Should I give it up? And the manjaris who know her heart can either encourage her to in man, or they can encourage her to give it up. So she looks at the manjaris and smiles, and the manjaris also know that Krishna wants to taste the smiling mouth of Radhika. But by her grace, she looks to her manjaris, not to Krishna. This Srimati Radhika, who her deep affection for her manjaris by moving her eyes in kataksha, when will I be able to recipient of such sidelong glass of this Srimati Radhika? So we pray. Boundless moods and qualities adorn you like a diamond necklace. Your smile is as intoxicating as an ocean of bliss made of fragrant pollen dust. So this was the verse number 6. Maithili, can you display verse number 7? Du musst die Kripa Radha Krishna Kataksha de komplette aufzeigen. Yeah. So, Minala Valla Vallari, this is the verse down there, yeah? If you want to sing along. Minala Valla Vallari, Tarangaranga Gurlate, Latagra Lasya Lola Nila Lochana Minala Valla Vallari, Taranga Durlate Latagradasya Lola Nila Lochana Lala Lulan Milan Manoja Mugda Mohanashite Kada Karishyasi Hamam Ipakata Sabhaja Lala Lulan Milan Manoja Mugda Mohanashite Kada Karishyasi Hamam Ipakata Sabhaja. So the translation reads, you whose arms resemble young lotus stems, like swaying tendrils in the waves, whose blue eyes give glances as restless as the uttermost ends of these tendrils when they dance, like in the wind, whose charm is such playful flowing encounters, let's all bewitching one take refuge with you, full of self-forgetfulness. When will you make me the recipient of your kripa kataksha, your sidewalk graceful glance? So we are coming to a very nectarian verse this time. No? Just as a climbing plant grows up the lotus stalk, you want to embrace your Krishna, and your arms themselves are as flexible as a lotus stem in the water. The dancing of the delicate spiral tips of a climbing plant in the wind resembles the lovely restless gaze of her blue eyes, which search for Krishna everywhere. When Krishna impresses and meets her, but if he wants to be enchanted by her, it only comes to an enchanting union when he is completely fascinated by her. Astonished, he falls under her spell. And he who is Mohana, who beguiles and enchants all words, can only do one thing: take refuge in her. So we are coming to a point where Radhika is sulky. She is angry at Krishna, and she cannot just give up that anger. But it's a lila, it's a play. She does this to please Krishna the most. In this beautiful lila, you will hear why Krishna is carrying peacock feather in his crown. There are different reasons. Once there were parrots dancing and they were throwing their feathers for Krishna's pleasure, and he put them on his crown to please the parrots who are his own pets. But there is a more rasic reason why Krishna wears feathers, peacock feathers in his crown. We will hear in a very beautiful story soon. Minala vala vallari taranga ranga dorlate. These words describe the beauty of Srimati Radhika's body and her arms. First of all, description of Minala is given. Minala means a stalk, a stem. In this case, a lotus stem. Vala means new. So the first thing described is a fresh new lotus stem. Since lotus plants grow in water, Minala suggests that the characteristic of a lotus stem, mobility and flexibility. A lotus stem is very flexible to move little with the water. Radhika's arms are like such a nature. They resemble a fresh, delicate lotus stem. They also, like Vallari, like climbing plants, like creepers, and the word taranga means waves. Just as the lotus is moved by water, Radhika's arms are always in motion. They are moved very gently and beautifully by the waves of love for Krishna. When Radha Shyamasundar were going to be installed in Vrindavan, the devotees asked Srila Prabhupada, how should Radharani's hands be formed? So as you see, in different places, Radharani's hands as a deity is like this, awarding bhakti, awarding fearlessness. Prabhupada said, in Vrindavan, Radharani is always dancing. So her hands should be resembled like this, like dancing. Because if Radharani stops dancing, all Vrindavan cries. So Radharani is always in a dancing mode. Yeah. Radhika's arms are of such a nature, they resemble a fresh, delicate lotus stem. They are moved very gently and beautifully by the waves of love for Krishna, moved by the waves of prema, Krishna prema. Ranga means moving and swaying. It also means playful. So Radhika's arm move in all kinds of playful gestures, moved by love for Krishna. There is another Anubhava in which Radhika does something with her arms in the presence of Krishna to show her love to him. She may be with her Sakhis like Lalita, and in Krishna's presence she puts her arm on Lalita's shoulder, or she puts her arms around Lalita, or she holds Lalita in some way, which only serves to confuse Krishna and attract him more and more. He sees her raising her beautiful, graceful arm and placing it on the shoulder of her Sakhi. And this is like a message to Krishna, because in her heart, she puts her arm around Krishna and embraces him. But now, standing before him, she performs the embrace in a hidden way by embracing her Sakhi Lalita. Because in the society, she doesn't want to, embrace Krishna. That's private. But she embraces Lalita in the mood of embracing Krishna. She will also do something very playful. Radhika often holds her lotus in her hand and twists and turns it. Sometimes she hits one of her friends with it. She is active and moving, and what moves her is love for Krishna, Krishna prema. Everything she does is to attract Krishna's mind, to give him pleasure. This is immediately followed by a description of Vallari, climbing plant, climbing creeper. This is the hidden hint of Minala, also means Krishna. It not only describes Radhika's arms, but also Krishna. He is the lotus stem. His body is like the stem, and at the top is his lotus face. And Srimati Radhika's arms are like creeper who goes around this lotus stem, climbing plant. And a climbing plant tends to wrap itself around anything that stands upright. So Radhika's arms have a tendency to wrap around Krishna's body. A climbing plant must naturally cling to something. So Radhika's arms are naturally attracted to Krishna's body, which is like a lotus stem. Ranga dor late. Dor means arms, and late is another word for climbing plants. Latagra lasya. Lata means a climbing plant, and gra means the top. The upper part of a climbing plant. This is where it is as its softest, and it's the growth phase, where the color is also very fresh and reddish. It is very soft and has a tendency to curl its tips. Latagra therefore means the tip of the curling end of a climbing plant, and lasya means dancing. This climbing plant is therefore not static. It is neither rigid nor motionless. It dances. In Sanskrit, there are masculine and feminine words for different activities. Lasya is a feminine word for dancing. It is derived by the name from Parvati Devi's dance, Lasya Nritya. And Shiva dances his destructive dance, which is called Tandava Nritya. It is a male dance of destruction. When Shivaji has destroyed everything and is still in frenzy of dance, Parvati dances in a very gentle and feminine Lasya Nritya to soothe Shivaji's spirit and end his destructive dance. Radhika's dance is also lasya, very gentle, and pacify anyone, especially Krishna. Her dance is of this gentle kind. But here lasya does not refer to Radhika's physical dance, but to her nila lochana, the movement of her blue eyes. Lola means swinging, just as the upper part of a climbing plant dances and swings from side to side. In this way, Srimati Radhika's nila lochana also swings here and there. Avalochana means that your blue eyes are the lookout. So the swinging movement of Srimati Radhika's eyes means that she is restlessly looking around, searching for Krishna. Radha and Krishna want to play hide and seek. Krishna hides first. He slides into the water of Radhakund and dives under the surface of the water with only his face visible. He lies in the cluster of floating blue lotus flowers. He lies very still in the water without moving, breathes in and out very gently, and remains hidden. Srimati Radhika and her Sakhis begin to search for Krishna, and they come to the bank of Radhakund and see this dense abundance of blue lotuses. You can see Krishna's face in the lotus flowers. His face resembles a beautiful blue lotus flower. But they notice that all the bees have risen into the air from the lotus flowers and have left all the lotus flowers to fly to one particular lotus flower. There are many, many bees, dozens and dozens of bees, and from everywhere more bees are leaving other lotuses, even though they cannot make out Krishna's face. Amid the countless lotus flowers, the gopis can understand just by the behavior of the bees, oh, that is Krishna's lotus face. That's why all the bees go to this one lotus. So they go quietly into the water. Krishna has closed his eyes and is lying like this. Srimati Radhika gives his head a very gentle push, and Krishna dives under the water. Then jumps up again, and everyone laughs. Oh, we saw you. It was so easy to find you. And then Radhika says, now I will hide myself. But she remarks, it was easy for me to find Krishna. Why? Because his sakhas helped me, the bees. All these bees are like Krishna's friends, and they have helped me to find him immediately. So she said to Krishna, now I will hide myself, but you should not accept any help. I had some help and found you easily. But you, if you want to search for me, you should search for me alone and have no help from any of my Sakhis. Do not let them help him. So Radhika hid. And where did she hide? In a very golden, fragrant place, so that her body was completely hidden, like in a champak tree. Krishna began to search for her, and he searched everywhere. He could not find her anywhere. But the breeze came up, and the fragrance of Srimati Radhika's body. The breeze carried her fragrance around very gently, touching the trees and creepers of Vrindavan. Especially the creepers were touched by the breeze carrying the fragrance of Srimati Radhika. Touched by this fragrant breeze, the creepers began to sway and move very gently, turning their small creeper heads in the direction from which the breeze was coming to enjoy the beautiful fragrance of Radhika. Krishna could not find Radhika anywhere, but he observed how these creepers all began to sway in a gentle movement toward Radhika. Immediately, he went there and found Radhika. Radhika was astonished. How could you find me? I was completely hidden. No one could have found me. Krishna said, oh, no problem. All the creepers were at you. Radhika said, aha, so you cheated. These creepers are my Sakhis, and you have taken their help to find me, so it doesn't count. You have not found me. You have cheated. So these creepers in their movement pointing towards Srimati Radhika are like Lasya nritya, female dancing movements. And Radhika's blue eyes are also like that, just like a gentle, graceful movement emanating from the topmost part, the softest part of the creepers. And why do they move like that? Lochana valokane. Your eyes are searching, looking for Krishna, constantly and excitedly looking for Krishna. Radhika's eyes are described here as blue. They are like the color of Krishna, bright and blue. Everywhere she looks, every place touched by the gaze of her eyes is imbued with the blue of her eyes and what they hold. Your eyes are so dense and beautifully blue. When anything looks at you, that object takes on that blue coloration. So who knows why Radharani's eyes became blue? Tomorrow we are celebrating Radharani's appearance. Louder, please. Yes. It happens like this, that when Radharani appeared on a lotus flower in Raval, in Gokul, and Vishabhanu Maharaj found her, brought her home. She was exquisite beauty, but she was blind. Like many babies are blind in the beginning days. So she was blind for some time. And one time, Mother Yashoda came with a newborn baby Krishna and Nanda Maharaj to visit Vishabhanu Maharaj and Kirtida and the new baby. So Krishna went crawling to her place, to her bed, and Krishna touched her, and she opened her eyes for the first time and saw Krishna. And due to that first sight, her eyes took the color of Krishna. So she saw Krishna as the first object in this world. Yeah, this was at her, a few days after her birth. So her eyes became blue. She sees a bluish glow emanating from her own eyes. Due to her own deep desire to see Krishna, her gaze creates a blue glow, and so she thinks she sees Krishna all the time, no matter where her eyes wander. Thus, her eyes rest for a minute, but then, due to her restless nature, her eyes tear again and wander to another place. Again and again, this bluish action of her eyes takes place, so that she again thinks that she sees Krishna. In fact, she sees Krishna everywhere. She looks by the influence of her own beautiful eyes and her deepest desire to see him. So this Srimati Radhika, looking here and there to see Krishna, has a mysterious effect on Krishna. Lalal lulan milan manoja mukta mohana shrite. Krishna appears at the end of this line, and the conclusion is ashrite. That is, Krishna, who is Madan Mohan, will ultimately take shelter of Srimati Radhika. He must take refuge in Srimati Radhika. But how does Krishna take refuge? He has to go through different stages to take shelter of Radhika. Just as Radhika goes through different stages when she meets with Krishna. The Acharyas describe that Krishna is like a peacock. Peacock spreads its large feathered tail and performs this extraordinary dance to a female peacock. All of Krishna's activities resemble this extraordinarily beautiful dance of a peacock, spreading its feathered tail and performing it to the gopis. Attract them. The attraction of this fanned out wheel of feathers is based on the countless shimmering eyes with which the peacock's tail is completely interspreaded. This is its hypnotic effect. He thinks that he can hypnotize the gopis through his beauty and his activities like a magician. Krishna thinks, that he can spread his peacock tail of attractiveness and dance a little, and then everyone will be hypnotized by all these beautiful peacock eyes and fascinated by him. So Krishna has such a plan, and he thinks that he can easily meet with Radhika's exhibiting his charming nature, his Dhira Lalita nature. Dhira Lalita means a person who is very nicely dressed, very chic. But what actually happens first is Lalan. He goes out to attract Radhika, but the result is Lulan. He goes as a Lalan, but he comes out with Lulan. He himself is captured by her. She may show disinterest and even not look. And when Krishna receives this reaction from Radhika, he himself becomes a prisoner of her playfulness. He sets out to captivate her, but he himself becomes captivated. He expresses his desire to meet her through his restless nature, but the more difficult it becomes to fascinate her, and the more indifferent she is, the more he becomes entranced by her. Only when Krishna is completely enchanted and mesmerized by Radhika in her Milan, in the meeting, only then will Srimati Radhika meet him, not before. Lalita Sakhi and all the Radhika's friends will not meet Krishna until he has come to this point of Lulan, captivity under the spell of her love. So there is a story about how Krishna had a desire to meet Srimati Radhika, and he had to make so many efforts to do so. He sent so many messengers to try to break the man of Sri Radhika. And finally, Radhika sent a message back to him. Oh yes, you can come. I will meet you in the evening on the bank of the Yamuna. So Krishna was very eager. He was captivated. He was in the mood of Lulan, captivity under the spell of her love. So this is what is the prerequisite. If Krishna wants to see the gopis, he has to be Lulan. He has to be already captivated. So at this point, he was already captivated, no problem. So Radhika said, you can come. Yeah. But he went to the bank of the Yamuna and waited for Srimati Radhika. After some time, Rupa Manjari came there with Radhika, and she took Radhika to another place nearby, and then went to Krishna and said, oh Krishna, we have tried everything. We have tried to get Radhika out of the house, but at the last minute, Jatila, her mother-in-law, came and gave Radhika so many service, and Radhika remained in the house. There is no hope for you tonight. It is not possible. But don't worry, I have seen Chandravali. She has sneaked out of her house, and she is just a little way down the path in another kunja. She is waiting for you and has prepared a beautiful flower bed for you there. You might as well go to her, because Radhika is not here. But since Sri Krishna was already Lulan, spellbound by the thought of meeting Radhika, it was impossible for him to even think of going to Chandravali. When Krishna looked into Rupa Manjari's face, tears came to his eyes, and he sat down on the ground with a heavy heart, sighed deeply, and closed his eyes. His eyes were closed, and tears streamed down his face. When Rupa Manjari saw that Krishna had no intention of going to Chandravali, but that his burning desire was completely for Sri Radhika, she immediately said, oh, don't worry, she's actually here. You can give up your crying. I shall get her now. So when Krishna is Lulan, then Radhika, the Manjaris and the Sakhis will arrange everything, and there will be Milan. Then there is Milan. Milan means meeting, encounter. So Milan is special because it comes from the platform of Lulan. No? Meeting can only take place when Krishna is totally captivated by love, especially to Radharani. It is based on Krishna's complete disenchantment and enthrallment with Srimati Radhika. Then Milan happens. The eagerly awaited meeting between Radha and Krishna. Their encounter is Manoja, very beautiful and enchanting for the mind. It is specially charming for Radhika's mind after Krishna is completely enthralled by Radhika and then allowed to meet with Srimati Radhika in this sweet captivity of the heart. His mood is very submissive to Radhika. Her mood, on the other hand, is Swadina Bhartrika. Her beloved, his mind and mood completely dominating. When this mood is fully manifested in Radhika and Krishna, is completely devoted to it, then his only interest is the Manoja of Radhika. He then simply wants to please Radhika's mind and heart. Manoja means that Krishna's total devotion for Radhika's mind is delightful, charming, and attractive. Krishna, who pleases Radhika and is accepted by her in a mood of Swadina Bhartrika, may then receive service from Radhika, such as, "You can decorate my feet with color." And she stretches out her foot and looks away. And Krishna is lying at her feet and is very happy. He is immensely happy and full of indescribable joy that he gets the opportunity to paint Radhika's feet. Or she says, "Oh, my braid is loose. You may re-braid my braid." And in a very careless way, she says, "You should do something." Krishna is so happy and eager to serve Srimati Radhika, and he becomes, in this mood, mugdha, completely absorbed, bewildered, and forgetful, completely forgetful that he is the Lord of hundreds and millions of gopis. He himself forgets that he is actually Sri Radhika's servant and his immense pleasure in it. He is simply very happy to have the opportunity to braid her hair and paint her feet. Then in this state of mugdha, this mugdha becomes so intense that he, the controller of all words and the bewilderer of God of love, becomes mohana. He becomes unconscious. He loses consciousness, madan mohan, and he has to take refuge. Mohana shrite. He has to take refuge in Srimati Radhika. Thus Krishna, in the mood of intense absorption, faints, and Radhika takes the collapsed and completely loved ruined Krishna into her arms and gives him refuge in this helpless state. Only Srimati Radhika can be Mohanashraya, Krishna's refuge. When Krishna, unconscious, the whole of the Vraja begins to faint. Thus Srimati Radhika becomes the savior of Vraj and the savior of everybody by reviving the Mohana Krishna Sanjeevani. Krishna thus faints out of intense love for Srimati Radhika, and this intense love is made possible by these progressive stages. By the fact that he has gone through these stages, he did not just meet with Radhika, "Oh, I want to meet with you, Radhika," just like that. On the other hand, because this meeting went through all these stages, created Krishna's own enchantment and subjugation to Srimati Radhika, this intensity could build up to the point that Krishna himself is struck by his own arrows. This is the speciality of Parakiya Bhav, her exciting secret love. Mohan is one of the arrows of Cupid. So Krishna himself, who is Madan Mohan, is struck by this arrow of Mohan. So he faints from love. So Radhika, these arrows from the very beginning, when Krishna first tried to charm Radhika by dancing his lalal, his peacock dance, in fact, Srimati Radhika begins to affect Mohan from this point. He thinks that he is attracting her, but actually he is being attracted. So when Krishna in such a state actually takes shelter of Srimati Radhika, at that time the Sakis like Lalita and Vishaka are probably not in Srimati Radhika's immediate vicinity, but the Manjaris at that time, at that very moment, when Krishna is overwhelmed, enthralled, bewildered, and so entranced by Srimati Radhika that he becomes unconscious and takes the shelter of her arms, and she revives the impotent Krishna. At that time, the Manjaris have the darshan of all this. They not only see and observe the scene, but Radhika includes them in the action through their kripa kataksha. When we receive this kripa kataksha of Radhika at such a time, in such a state, when she is so much in loving control of Krishna, being so much in control of him, at that moment she also looks to her manjaris. Oh, look, the unconscious Krishna is in my arms. Minala Valla Vallari. And the manjaris also appreciate very much how Srimati Radhika, Swadanika Bhartrika, has mastered Krishna. When will Srimati Radhika give me her kripa kataksha, give me her sidelong glance, so that I may partake of this beautiful mood? How Srimati Radhika's smile is at this time so beautiful? I would like to conclude this session with a short meditation again. Please close your eyes. Just as a climbing plant grows up the lotus stem, you want to embrace your Krishna, and your arms themselves are flexible as a lotus stem in the water. The dancing of the delicate spiral tips of a climbing plant in the wind resemble the lovely, restless gaze of your blue eyes, which search for Krishna everywhere. When Krishna impresses and meets you, but if he wants to be enchanted by you, it only comes to an enchanting union when he is completely fascinated by you. Astonished, he falls under your spell. And he who is Mohan, who controls and enchants all worlds, can only do one thing: take refuge in you. So this was the conclusion of verse number 7, and tomorrow we can conclude the rest of the prayers. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Maybe we can chant a little bit before we close this session. When does the kirtan start again? 5:30. Yeah. Yeah, you have a comment or point, question?
So, thank you really very much for this, how to say,
Hare Krishna.
take us on your hand, bring us in the spiritual world, transcendental mood. I feel the transcendental mood different from.
Thank you. I'm just reading some nectar from the book.
So, this is not so also that is I have to bring my sights in my mind together. And, how is this possible? And now really I'm for a few years chanting Hare Krishna, and I feel in the normal way, not in this pastimes. How is this possible? I'm thinking, asking for everybody here, what we should do that we have more this wonderful association on the transcendental platform. I understand that what I hear will fulfill my pot, my nectar pot inside myself. How I can bring it. So I think your next Tuesday, 4 o'clock afternoon. So then all is gone. No, it's not beyond. It's there. It will.
Well, the nectar you have heard will have its effect on your heart.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that this nectar of the acharyas could touch your heart. That's because you are a very, very nice devotee and already have advanced so much in Krishna consciousness. Some other person may be just sitting here and listening, and it's good, okay, and then they go home and not much happens. It all has different effects on us due to our own practice and purity. So you are practicing Krishna consciousness for so many years. It has definitely affected your heart. That's why it is very important to have good association, to have sadhu sangha. And sadhu sangha can inspire us to hear more about Radha and Krishna. Sadhu sangha can inspire us to chant very nicely. Sadhu sangha can inspire us to distribute books. Sadhu sangha can inspire us to perform deity seva, cook for Krishna. Sadhu sangha can inspire us for different things. So you should choose your sangha. You should choose the sadhus with whom you want to associate. If you want to associate with book distributors, you will get inspiration for book distribution. If you want to associate with good chanters, you will chant. And if you associate with kirtaniyas, you will just do kirtan and be ecstatic. Yeah. So if you associate with rasika bhaktas and you hear from them, you cultivate very fine rasas of devotional service. And it is all wonderful. There is no difference. In the eyes of Krishna, all these devotional services performed under the guidance of Guru and Vaishnavas is always very wonderful. There is no difference in cleaning the temple, worshipping the deity, cooking for Krishna, distributing books, or chanting the holy names. They are all, in the eyes of Krishna, they are all one. Although it is very important that they are all combined and connected with the chanting of the holy name, because it is the Yuga Dharma. So, thank you very much for your appreciation. Keep the inspiration going on. Keep the hearing process. Is Shravanam Kirtanam. Shravanam is the very first. It's the first platform of performing devotional service. Srila Prabhupada said, because I was so interested in Shravanam, now I am so interested in Kirtanam. Yeah? Because I was so much interested to hear from my Gurudev, now I am so much interested in preaching the glories of Krishna and Radharani. Yeah. Please.
Thank you very much. I was at home and listened online, and I was so attracted. I felt I must go back to the temple. For me, it's totally condensed. Also, I thought, but I have to note everything all the time. Hopefully, I can have time to listen.
Yeah, I hope we have the recordings, because it is very nectarian also for me. It's not my words. I'm just reading book for you. I'm reading the collection. I'm happy that I did this. It took me many months to collect all the nectar and bring them to one place. I'm not reading from one book. I'm telling you what I have collected in the past many years, but especially the last 6 months. You know, I have a little here, a little there, a little there, a little there, a little bit of Vilapa Kusumanjali, a little bit of Radhakripa Kataksha, a little bit of here and there, Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi, different nectars, and the commentaries of Jiva Goswami, and there is so much more. I didn't even touch anything from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, because if I start that, there's no end to it. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has written so much on these topics, really a lot. I didn't even start it because I knew I will never finish. I will never come to finish, because this is already very nectarian. But what I can suggest is, if you are really interested in this subject matter, you can read the commentary of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is the Sarartha Darshini, Sarartha Varshini. There are these two books, and you can read there. There is so much more. She was not finished yet, yeah?
Yeah, I have two practical questions, if possible. You said at the beginning in the afternoon that when we want to give a flower to Krishna, we first request Radha to give the flower to Krishna. And when I'm now as Pujari on the altar, we learn, we request at first our Guru Maharaj, and then Shri Prabhupada, and then Lord Chaitanya. We not request Radha that we can assist her to bring this item to Krishna. How is it in this case?
Yeah, on the case of worship on the altar, there is a standard worship, and the standard worship is set out by the temple. In ISKCON, it is the ISKCON Ministry of Deity Worship, so they set up the standard. But you can inwardly always offer, after you offer to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Radha Krishna Nahi Anya, you can offer to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and beg him to help you to offer this to Krishna through Srimati Radharani. This is an inner mood. You can cultivate the inner mood. But we follow the standard worship, of course. In some other temples, they may have other standards, which is also wonderful, But we follow the standard worship, deity worship. And I know on the standard deity worship, when you go on the altar of Radha Madan Mohan, you first offer, like you said, you come to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then you offer to Krishna. Then you offer to Radharani. Why? Because Radharani is also a devotee. She wants to get the Maha from Krishna. So ultimately, we are serving Radharani. Yeah? But it's still an inner mood. It depends. Like, we worship Giriraj. Yeah? Some devotees worship Giriraj as Krishna. They give him peacock feather. Some devotees worship Krishna as the Haridasa Varya, as the greatest of all devotees. They don't worship Giriraj as Krishna. They worship Giriraj as a devotee of Krishna. You can do this, you can do that. Both are okay. Yeah? Actually, it is said, you can worship Krishna as Giriraj, you can worship Giriraj as Krishna, but you can pray to him as the greatest of all devotees. Even that is okay. I had a Giriraj Shila, I was worshipping him in this mood. I was worshipping him as Krishna with peacock feather, but I was praying to him as he is the greatest of all devotees, Haridasa Varya. These are all different moods, and they are all bona fide. So you should pick up one. So if you do that, you can do this, you want to serve Krishna, you always first offer everything in Radharani's hand, then you give it to Krishna. Yeah.
Then it is said that we have this small booklet with Radha and Krishna Kripa that one should chant this prayer between 6 a.m. in the morning and 8:36. Sometimes it's not possible to do this, especially if you attend the morning program. What is your experience or knowledge? How important is it to do it in this time, or is it not so effective if you do it in another time?
It is always effectful. It has the timing is a suggestion. I learned this prayer, I don't know, when my son was 2 years old and I had to bring him to bed and he was not sleeping. I had to carry him. And I was going, Munendra Vindavandite Triloka Shokahari. I learned the whole song, by memory. I memorized the whole song by doing this. I brought my son to bed every evening, and you know what happened? Some of the first words he says were Munindra Vindavandit. He learned it from me by hearing. I mean, he forgot it afterwards, but he learned this song from me because I was chanting it for him. I was not looking at, now it's 6:35 or whatever. I didn't care about that. I just wanted to bring my son to bed. And this was a way of not wasting my time just by carrying a baby and engaging my mind in the service of Radharani. This is what happened to me. And since then, I almost try to chant this verse every day, and I don't really think about the hours. I chant whenever it comes to my mind. I just think, okay, now Srimati Radharani is merciful to me, so I can chant this prayer. Yeah. Yeah, that would be the best. Yes. Yeah, that would be the best. But if you have only one, it's okay. Just use your time as good as you can by chanting this. And if you can chant it every day, then you should feel very, very blessed whenever it is, whenever at the day. But if you can do it between those hours, okay, wonderful, very good. Of course, they also say if you chant this prayer for 40 days, immersed in the waters of Radhakund, which you can do in your mind, you can go to Radhakund, pay your obeisances in your heart of hearts, go there and chant. This would be even more powerful. No? It says if you do this very purely and very concentrated, Srimati Radharani will appear before you. You have to do this 40 days. Fixed meditation. Yeah, it's a meditation. It's a meditation with intention. The hours, yeah, may be helpful, but it's not. The rules and regulations are good to keep us in line, but more important is the bhava. Yeah? One devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, oh, we have this book of Tulasi, how to worship Tulasi and this. Shall we chant this mantra when we do this, or we shall chant the other mantra? Shall we do this with our left foot coming into Rhine, or with our right foot is also okay? And Prabhupada said, why are you speculating? Just do it with bhava, do it with bhakti. Bhakti is much more important than rules and regulations. We don't throw away rules and regulations, but we still understand that having bhakti is more important than the rules and regulations. So if you remember at 12 o'clock in the noon and you have time and you think, okay, now I have time, why should I not chant the mantra? You don't think, oh no, today's 8:35 is finished, I cannot do it anymore. No, just see it as Krishna's arrangement. Now you have the time. So take the opportunity, chant it. Chant it with intention, with prayer, with bhakti. Krishna is Bhava Grahi Janardana. He accepts the bhakti. He sees a heap of garbage and there is some bhakti in there, In my heart, I have a lot of garbage, but there is a little bhakti. And he's so kind. He just accepts that bhakti. He says, it's okay. I know you. You're a very fallen person, but you have a little attraction to me. So I just accept that. Because this is Krishna's mercy.
For me, it is also in correspondence with Bhagavat. This is for the most of us the beginning, the fundament of spiritual knowledge.
Sure.
And Krishna says so much things. And when we follow that in this way, then he opens other channels. He gives other knowledge so that we can see him from the other direction. And also he can see us, how serious we are, what we are doing with that, what we are hearing. And so we believe on that, oh, nice story, wonderful. Yeah, and then we forget it again. And so on. Or we have a deep, as for me, was not so easy to follow like this. I have in my mind some border-like language. So for me, the emotion coming not so deep in my heart like when I hear it in German language. And then this is so sometimes my mind was wondering, mostly of that, also in the English understanding, he goes online in this stories. And what is now going on when it's go deeper? I believe on all that what you share with us. This is not so really simple to believe on this wonderful, unbelievable stories. And when we go deeper in that's what I want to ask and say, when we are going deeper in Bhagavad Gita, this understanding from this wonderful stories is more open, that this slowly come in our heart.
Yes, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is describing the different paths of yoga. He speaks about Hatha Yoga, about Buddhi Yoga, about Kriya Yoga, about all this Karma Yoga. He speaks, if you perform activities and offer the results to me, this is called Karma Yoga. It's very wonderful. Better than Karma Yoga is Jnana Yoga. You cultivate transcendental knowledge, and better than Karma Yoga, and the culmination of all yogas is Bhakti. And Bhakti is the only way you can realize Krishna. Bhakti amam abhijanati yavanyascha smritatvatha. This is the only way. You can only really understand Krishna by Bhakti. But what do you understand? If you perform Bhakti, you can perform Bhakti in this mood, in that mood, in Radhika's mood. There are so many different moods. Why? Because we are all individual souls. We are individual souls with individual attractions. Some of us are kirtan fans. Some of us likes to be on the altar. Some of us like to do this seva, that seva. And this is all wonderful. It's all good. We should just accept one path and move on. And believe me, once you do that, Krishna will open the next door. Because it is an unlimited word. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mahan. Realizing Krishna is an impossible task. You can never really realize Krishna 100%. It's impossible. Because he is unlimited and he is expanding every moment unlimitedly. So you can never really realize everything about him. But he opens a door for you, specially for you. He welcomes you personally in his word. That's why we beg Srimati Radharani for just a sidelong glance, for just a seva. Please, give me a little place at your lotus feet. That's why Uddhava, who was a great, great, great devotee, he was practically like Krishna. He looked like Krishna. He was the cousin of Krishna and he was the beloved of Krishna. Krishna loved him. When Krishna passed away from this world, he was sitting with Uddhava together and Maitreya Rishi. He was sitting there and Krishna was speaking the Uddhava Gita to him. He loved him so much. When Krishna went back to Goloka Vrindavan, Uddhava, he thought, he heard Uddhava Gita from Krishna, which is like a more refined knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita. But then he went to Vrindavan and he saw the gopis. Then he realized, oh God, these gopis, they have so much more love and understanding of Krishna than me. So he desired to become a small grass under the lotus feet of the gopis. Let me be a small grass that they come and touch their lotus feet on my head. That would be my perfection. Uddhava was a very exalted, kingly person. He was a prince. He was one of the most influential and rich and beautiful and knowledgeable prince of the Yadu dynasty. He decided, oh Krishna, please fulfill this one desire, that I become a blade of grass under the lotus feet of the gopis. Why? Because the gopis showed him that they know this one thing, prema, that they know prema, Krishna prema. So he wished to receive their mercy, to get that kind of bhakti. He had already bhakti to Krishna, but he wanted to have that bhakti. So when we advance in Krishna consciousness by the grace of Srila Prabhupada and Gurus and Vaishnavas, we can make small steps. We move on, and then Krishna opens another door. And then Krishna shows you another devotee. And then you see, wow, this devotee, he is so nice. He knows so nicely how to dress Krishna, how to cook a very beautiful feast for Krishna, a very tasty feast. this, I like to learn this also, then you become inspired. And maybe, sometimes you may even see a very advanced devotees, like a guru, who becomes like a second Shiksha guru to you. That's how we met different devotees in the path of our devotional service. We met this devotee, that devotee, that devotee, but at one point, either we lost connection with them, or we even met other devotees who were also very much inspiring. So Krishna will send help all the time. We just have to keep going on.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Please, Mataji.
Thank you very much for your wonderful class.
Hare Krishna.
From the morning session, there was like Lalita. She arranged for wrestling match, arena like that of Kansa. But once Krishna went to Mathura, he did not come back to Vrindavan. So can you please enlighten me on that?
Yes, it's like this. A very good question. The question is, this morning I told you the story of how Lalita arranged a wrestling match with Krishna, because Krishna was very proud and he was boasting to his friends that I will beat everyone. I can even, win over gopis. And the gopis did not want to accept this, that he is going to win them. So Lalita suggested, she made this trick. Let's make a wrestling match. And let's make the wrestling match just like Kamsa's arena. So Mataji is saying correctly, how is this possible? Krishna, when he went to the wrestling match of Kamsa, he never came back to Vrindavan. So how could the gopis know this? It's like this. Some pastimes happen on Goloka Vrindavan in the spiritual world, and some pastimes only happen in Bauma Vrindavan. In Bauma Vrindavan, there is all these pastimes with demons, But in the spiritual world, there is no demons. There is no Kamsa in the spiritual world. There is no Palambasura or Agasura in the spiritual world. But the residents of Vrindavan, in Goloka Vrindavan, they know that Krishna once fought in the arena of Kamsa. Krishna once, delivered Agasura. They never saw Agasura, but they have it. They know it, So this is one of those pastimes. Gopis never saw Kamsa's arena. How could Lalita know how Kamsa's arena looked? Even at that time, never Lalita went to Kamsa's arena. They couldn't even think of anyone fighting with Krishna. That would give them heart attack. They would faint out of sadness if somebody attacks Krishna. They loved Krishna over everything. So they could not even imagine this. But they heard the story that there was this wrestling arena of Kamsa. So this story which I said this morning, this comes from Goloka Vrindavan. It's not from Bauma Vrindavan. Killing of the demons is only in Bauma Vrindavan. But the residents of Goloka Vrindavan, they have actually never seen baby Krishna. They don't know any demons. They know Krishna in his eternal age of 15 years and 6 months and 2.5 days or something like that. I don't remember the number now, but Krishna has an eternal age. Srila Jiva Goswami is describing that Krishna has an eternal age and Radharani has an eternal age. In Goloka Vrindavan, they are always at their eternal age.
Always fresh.
Yes, always Yugal Kishore, always in their youth age. Yeah. Hare Krishna, very good question. Yes, please.
Thank you for making such esoteric classrooms so accessible to all of us. I was just thinking about, you're talking about the swapnas of Raghunath Goswami and how he was actually imagining being with Srimati Radharani and massaging her feet.
It was not only imagination, it was real, but it was just a short vision and then it would disappear. It was not imagination, it was totally real.
Can you explain more the nature of swapnas, and is it him expressing his nature in the spiritual world? Or?
as I said, as we advance in Krishna consciousness, we come closer to realizing Krishna. And once you realize Krishna, you also realize who you are in relationship to Krishna, because we are eternally Krishna's servant. Yeah, we are, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, yeah? We are eternal servants of Krishna. So, what kind of servant are we? We don't know at this stage. We are blind. We don't see it now. But the more we advance, the more we purify our hearts by hearing and chanting and engaging in devotional service under the guidance of Guru, the more our heart becomes clear, which means what? Chetu Darpana Marjanam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes the mirror of the mind. When the mirror of the mind is clear, you see yourself. You see yourself in the mirror, which means you realize who you are. But also you realize who is Krishna, yeah, and what kind of relationship you have with Krishna. But this relationship is not just, you're chanting, and then suddenly, oh, I'm in the spiritual world, everything is okay, now I know who I am. No, it comes slowly. So it comes from this spurti moments. It comes from, first it comes in dreams. You're sleeping and then you have a dream. Oh, wow, it was so real. Yeah. Sometimes when we are not that advanced, we have also some kind of dreams, but these are not really that kind of dreams. Then you have that, if you receive a certain stage of purity, you will have dreams. You will dream Krishna. Srila Prabhupada used to say, if you read Krishna book before you go to bed, at one point you will dream Krishna. So this is somewhere we could start with, read about Krishna's pastimes, or like these pastimes we are speaking about. Yeah, these are very nice pastimes to meditate upon. How Krishna was so proud to fight the gopis, but then the gopis showed him that he can also be defeated. Yeah, and so these are beautiful pastimes you can meditate upon, and your heart becomes purified. Then you can dream of Krishna at one point, and then more dreams, and then these dreams can become swapna. They become visions. But these visions, if you are a pure devotee, they are not imagination. They are real, because Raghunath Das Goswami was really massaging Radharani's lotus feet, or he was painting her nails or her feet, or putting her braid or dressing her. He was doing it. But then this vision would disappear. And so he would fall into a very deep sadness. Oh, I was just dressing Radharani and suddenly she's gone. Why you left me, And then this intensity of love and desire for serving Radhika would intensify. I mean, she was not disappearing because she wanted to hurt him. She was disappearing to intensify the mood. You understand? Just like tomorrow morning we are going to hear how she's intensifying the mood with Krishna, yeah? So that Krishna has to surrender completely. We heard already today that he was captivated. He came there, he begged, he fainted, he was crying. Do you think it's end? No way. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to tell you how Krishna is going to really surrender everything. He has to surrender even his peacock feathers. Yeah. So, she is intensifying the mood, in order to encourage Krishna, in order to encourage his devotees to become more and more absorbed in love. So, these swapnas, in our case, it may be just, some hallucination. But in the case of Raghunath Das Goswami, it's real. It's a real happening. Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyavacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimati Radharani ki jai.
Bhagavat-dharma Prabhu ki
Hare Krishna.
Because she can